Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Games Industry Executive Summary. This is Casey, and with us today we have the dashing Dave Thier,
Hi,
back from travels.
from travels. Yes,
Where have you been?
I was in Turkey, or rather, I was in a resort. I gather that Turkey was around the resort in some capacity, but I'm not entirely clear on
Nice.
that.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more on that.
Yeah,
And of course, the analyst, Manu Rosier, in an office somewhere.
Yeah, and currently just pushed out of the Gies Substack, so I have a bit of an admin thing to do at the same time. For some reason, okay.
Dave, you missed so much, but
Oh
I hope
man,
you
oh man.
you got some color in
Yeah,
Turkey,
no, I
right?
did definitely spend some
Yeah.
time out in the sun.
I hope you enjoyed that
It,
resort.
yeah, it was a nice time. I sat by the pool, and that's about it.
Where did you go?
Sida or CD, I believe it's
Ah,
pronounced.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, it was lovely.
Dave, you missed this thing.
Yeah, I still haven't done it yet. I have it downloaded. Plan is either this afternoon or tomorrow. So I'm
Uh,
really looking forward to it. Everyone's going nuts.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It's almost sold out in physical form
Wow,
wherever I go.
that's so interesting. I mean, obviously they don't print as many physical discs as they used to, but still, that's super interesting.
Right? And then there was one more thing that recently happened. I'm not sure if you hang out on YouTube these days. The Ninja Creamy Deluxe is making waves.
Ninja he's
Creamy
become creamy.
Deluxe.
Yeah,
Yes.
what's creamy about him? Or and the,
No, not Ninja, the influencer. That guy. Nobody talks about that guy
yeah, I
anymore.
was gonna say, unless he
Remember when that
became
guy
creamy.
used to be used as a, I think the last big thing was Apex when they launched Apex. He
Yeah,
was
that's
part of that,
right.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Fortnite
No, I'm
was
talking about
his.
the a better Ninja.
Okay, like the
The,
blender.
the the Ninja Creamy Deluxe is an ice cream machine.
Oh, so like the company that makes the blenders and that kind of
Yes.
thing. Okay, all
And
right.
that machine is on fire. Like
Okay,
you can barely find it anymore in Sweden, at least.
Hmm.
okay. Well, I won't
Um,
go looking for it in Sweden.
no, I mean you should absolutely look for it wherever you are.
Okay, awesome. I used to have
But if
this like
you're
it was like a ball, and you would put ice water in there, and then your stuff. And the idea was that like we took it to the beach house, and the kids would just like throw the ball around, and during the process of play, it would become ice cream.
that could be fun.
Yeah, that was cool. This sounds
Manu,
more advanced.
yeah, you should absolutely get the
Yeah.
creamy. You should. It's all the rage now on YouTube,
Okay,
and
cool.
there are all these recipes of like low calorie, like an entire tub for like 100 calories or 200 calories. It's amazing, and the machine actually works.
All right.
Sure.
So I
Should
bought it
we
yesterday. Manu, you were
should
saying?
we talk about Dubai chocolate also if we are talking
Wait,
about
Oh
I
yeah,
wanted
sensor
that's
to.
I
stuff?
haven't tried it yet, but like I mean this it's everywhere. Like I see the signs.
It's everywhere on social media. It's nowhere in shops.
Oh
It's very
really?
difficult to find
Because
actually.
I mean I live on a major shopping street, so I see signs for it all over the place.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I am a traditionalist, so I feel like that is an abomination. What's the word?
Abomination.
Yes, that's what I think it is.
Yeah.
But I see how people, like it.
I mean I like
And
pistachios. I'm into pistachios. So
Yes, there's a lot of pistachios in that thing. But I would rather just buy a regular kunafe. Did you have any kunafes in Turkey,
no,
Dave?
what is that?
I don't know what that is.
I will tell you
Ah,
all
it's the sweet dessert or the sweet
Is
sweets
that what like
from
Dubai chocolate is based off of, or
I
no
believe so.
inside, yes, inside.
In relationship to like the concept of it, I'll share with
Hmm.
you a picture. But knafe is
Mhm.
much better because I think the concept of keep it simple, stupid. And basically, this is just pasta and cheese with some um, rose syrup. That's it. And of
Okay.
course, you have the pistachios on top. But that's it. And you don't need the pistachios if you don't want to. Um, but it's really simple, and it's really gooey, tasty, And I think what happened with the Dubai chocolate thing is like, okay, let's combine multiple things, and it just becomes this heavy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if that's what you enjoy, go for it.
If there's a place to get kunafe in Malmo, let's go get some.
I will treat each one.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely,
Excellent.
absolutely. Let's do that. I'm sure there is. Manu, anything else happening on your side apart from maybe you're not doing ice cream like I am doing, but
No, let's talk about video games.
Sure.
There's zero interest.
Video games will rot your brain, man.
No. I mean, I can talk about my Ninja air fryer also if you want, but I don't know if the audience is interested.
I've got an air fryer. They're great.
Yeah.
That's it. There's a period on that sentence. There's no reason to elaborate.
Or my new ice machine, but just for ice cube and just ice water, which is also great. It's going to be very useful.
Hey, you know I'm all about getting huge ice blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Okay, you'll have to tell me about that one later then.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Businessman. The game industry executive summary for today. On the highlights, you have to really elaborate on this thing. The number one item on the highlights. GTA 6's delay doesn't mean the games industry is in trouble. It's already dead. And this is Eurogamer. I want to hear, what is this? What is going on?
Rockstar delays all their games. Why would you read the slightest thing into it at all?
What's the new?
I mean, it's a good headline. I can't say it's not a good headline, but
yeah, I could have just used the one that's about there's a new trailer and then there is a delay. So they've just instantly released the day after there is a new trailer in the.
I feel like this was an opinion piece that he had written and decided to peg it to the delay.
Like saved it until they announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a description of how the video game market has evolved. I saw some other LinkedIn posts saying everybody has an opinion whether it's good news or a bad news that GTA 6 has been delayed. Some people think it's a good news for third-party for other publisher because it means they have no leeway to release their game. For example, I think Sony announced the release date of Ghost of Yotei the day after, or like a few hours after. Mm-hmm. So there is some opportunistic behavior there. So yes, it's better if you don't have GTA 6 launching around you.
Yeah.
But also GTA 6 is expected to drive massive acquisition of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series at the same time. So this is the type of game that bring old gen players into new gen console, new gen ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So you will miss that bump in console install base when if you release this calendar year or before May.
You'll miss the huge bump, but I think you'll still get a bump because people are going to be like, I'm going to get this for Christmas to get ready.
Yeah.
You know.
But if you were planning to release your game in Q1 next year or in Q2 next year, then you probably think twice if you can rush it before or postpone it later. But I think if you had planned to do that in Q2, you don't have a lot of alternative. You're not going to release in July or August. So that leaves you with September, and September is EAFC and some other games, some traditional games releasing there. So I think there might games that have been not announced to launch in Q2 next year that are probably scratching their heads right now. And on the topic of buying a new console, I guess you can see the next news in the highlights. Xbox has decided to increase prices.
Yeah, used to be consoles would get cheaper over time.
Yes,
which is then linked to the news you have down below, which talks about the technical evolution of the chips, which is basically not allowing anymore for fabrication to go down. So this is the trend number 2. Chips.
Wait a second.
We've already done three items. This is really
give me a second. I need to.
Everything is connected, you know. I know.
I mean, everything is good. We'll connect it. We'll leave the scene. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you some time. Okay, so I went ahead. So let's talk about Xbox. So I think what is interesting here is that Xbox is still the entry point for a new gen platform. So it's still going to be the cheapest console to play GTA 6 by the time it is launched. And I think they were like, well, if Sony keeps increasing the price of the PlayStation 5, we have nobody after us. Why would you not also raise the price? I think it makes sense. Everything else, you can find many economic reasons, technical reason why you need to increase the price, like supply chain and that kind of stuff. But I think ultimately it's about why not increase our margin if we can increase our margins.
Yeah.
There is no reason to be that much behind. And then the other news, which is going to probably have a lot of consequence for the industry, is that they seem to have announced that they will increase their first-party title to $80 by the end of the year.
Yep.
See, that's what I'm concerned about more, largely because of what you were holding up a moment ago, Casey. Is that yeah, Nintendo can command that from Mario Kart World. People like Nintendo games, but when you're entering into the larger ecosystem, like I don't know, I don't know why I'm necessarily spending $80 on a first-party title when I can buy Clair Obscura for 40. And,
or if you can just subscribe to the Game Pass.
Subscribe to Game Pass, which they're happy about, yeah.
I think the move I see here, it's more related to increasing the perceived value of the Game Pass rather than really trying to make way more money on the first-party games. But it's a signal for the rest of the publishers. I mean, the next one in line will Call of Duty be $80? What does that mean for the next Battlefield that has been confirmed to be released this fiscal year? What does that mean for EAFC or from some other yearly titles?
GTA $600?
Yes, still possible.
Still possible. I mean, with the EAFC, I think is an interesting one. Call of Duty as well, because of course it's going to be a balancing act. Because I don't know if the majority of their money is coming from retail sales at this point. I don't think it is. It's from in-game transactions. So the risk, even a slightly smaller install base, are you going to make that $20 up down their line, or are you just banking on EFC people or EFC people that are going to buy it?
I was going to say as a joke to guarantee the $100 price tag for GTA 6, if they just delay it long enough, we'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But okay, now let's continue because we are onto something here.
Okay, wait a second. So it does seem like both, if it's Microsoft and probably we're going to see this across other platforms, it is an opportunity now to really set the stage. And obviously Nintendo opened that door and allowed this to happen. Potentially, maybe they already planned this. From my point of view, I want to put this as a note here, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. Do you think this would motivate people now to buy the games they actually want to play instead of just buying a bunch of games they do not?
Oh yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, though?
I think it feels like it's becoming expensive to buy video games. I think it's also increased the gap between all the free-to-play solutions that you have and the actually premium titles. So you're gonna have to have a very good game. I'm talking 80+ Metacritic score. Otherwise, you're probably dead. Yes.
Yeah.
At that price point.
And I mean, you need a lot, like, because I think that it would make more sense for Sony for me. Because they have this perceived high value IP, like God of War and Last of Us or whatever Naughty Dog's going to do next. At this point, Ghost of Blank. These are like perceived as premium, and Xbox has not earned that yet necessarily.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, let's move over to what was it you wanted to connect the pricing to? There was another item.
So yeah, there are actually two things I want to connect. So it's going to be a full discussion about the whole newsletter. So the first one is the trend number 2.
Trend number 2. Chips aren't improving like they used to, and it's killing game console price cuts. Huh.
Yeah. They used to be like you release a console and then the technology moves on. You reduce the size of your components like more and more, which bring economies of scale, which allow you to produce at a cheaper price, at a cheaper cost, at a lower cost, which means you can put some of that lower cost to your consumer by reducing the price of your console. But the reality now is that we are to a point where we cannot go smaller than atoms. We get to a level of fabrication and building the Moore law. Yeah, this is a bit of a technical take, but you hit a wall at some point, and there are no way you can reduce the cost of your chips. So you can't reduce the cost of your console. So that's one of the reasons probably why we don't see this time so much of a price decrease in the life cycle of these consoles.
Yeah.
Again, it's not great for the end consumer when you think it's not great in general, because where will the power needed for the next generation of console come from if it doesn't come from a smaller?
I'd be totally jazzed about there not being a next generation of consoles. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think Microsoft, Sony would be happy with that. Yeah. Sorry.
No, Dave, I was just going to say you're on point. I mean, do I even care? I don't care about graphics anymore. The experiences that I have today, yes, sure, there's always something you can improve, but the things that I have today are not changing my life versus the last generation. And I'm happy playing them. Yes, there might be a next step that we might be looking forward to, but what we currently have is great on many levels.
Yeah. I think the progress I still see for me personally playing with my kids on different platforms is the friction that we have to play together. It's still not amazing yet because of all the different ecosystem, because of all these publisher developers having different login and account. So we are there, I think, when it comes to cross progression. So if you can play from one platform to the other, that's getting better. But I think when it comes to playing with friends, it's still very challenging to play with people outside of Steam. If your friends are not on Steam, they're on another console. It's Fortnite does it very well. Fortnite is very easy. Some other games are also good, but I think when it comes to smaller publisher or smaller studio, they are struggling a bit more with that. And I think this friction, the cross-platform play, this needs to go away. This is something that needs to improve, and it's not going to come from the console sellers, because they want to keep players in their own ecosystem. They've been forced to do crossplay.
Absolutely.
Sony especially. But I mean, like, this is all, like, none of this requires new hardware. This requires just kind of a gradual erosion of back-end barriers like we've seen over the past decade or so.
Yeah, there are a lot of off-the-shelf solutions as well. Not easy to say that they get integrated, but obviously there are solutions. I will add, by the way, I think now that Nintendo, you're getting a new hardware, because in the current or past generation, you don't want to play with a Nintendo player on Fortnite, because they will just, like, the loading for them is like, takes a long time, so you just be waiting for them.
Yeah.
This is a good opportunity for the people who play with Nintendo people to be able to play with a better experience.
Absolutely.
So, is there anything else we want to connect here, by the way? So we have just to recap quickly, we got the Microsoft raising prices, we have the chips aren't improving. What was the third thing, though?
The news number 3.
Number 3 is that Call of Duty?
Yeah.
So how is that connected to Call of Duty?
Because we just discussed about the Call of Duty pricing and the fact that this yearly title might increase the entry barrier. But then you remember last week we talked about EAFC that is bringing this kind of season pass.
Yeah.
And now Call of Duty is talking about getting some content behind. Also, can you go up? Paywalling, limited time mode. So so far the battle pass was only cosmetic, but now there are rumors of gating gameplay and content and stuff like that behind it. So it's also adding to the idea that this yearly franchise, they try to make as much money as possible post-launch and not just from the and
but this is I hope, and I love when somebody's in the kitchen at Dave's house. But I hope this will not affect the premium buyers in Call of Duty, because I can see the value you're adding here. The people who are free to play and just buying the battle pass.
Nobody's free to play in Call of Duty. I mean, you have Warzone, but that's all. The PvP is not free to play.
Uh, exactly. But what I'm trying to say is, like, because the Warzone people can play with the paying people
And Warzone only.
in Warzone only, of course. But the Battle Pass is across the entire package.
Yeah, yeah.
But now you're saying if they add this thing to the Battle Pass, they will allow the Warzone only people who bought the Battle Pass to play
No,
more.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
no. You are preventing the people that bought the premium game to play some mods because they don't buy the battle pass.
So essentially, we're going back to DLCs again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
to
just a
to
DLC
the
subscription.
Full
to
circle.
A subscription pass.
Battlefield, the map pack
Premium.
thing,
Premium.
Battlefield back then. Yes,
Battlefield
Battlefield
Premium.
1,
Yeah.
Battlefield 5. I don't know. It's a rumor, but I think if this is where it's going, it's yeah.
I
I
was in
don't
a
know.
room with some Battlefield people not so long ago, and I was like,
Hmm.
I feel like the best choice for that type of community and franchise is to
Hmm.
do premium.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if there's
maybe.
any, and I'm not sure if I can talk about the premium numbers from back in the day, but
Hmm.
it was significant.
And it was terrible because you split the user base. So if you were on a server with rotating
Yeah,
maps, and then
yeah,
there would come a DLC map in there, you would be kicked out. So, or if you are playing with friends that don't have the DLC, then
yep.
it will cause some friction. Yes.
Yeah. But there are solutions to that, and obviously Joseph
Mm-hmm.
Fares showed us the solution to that, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
people just
Yeah,
but
So
I
it
would also
works.
be worried about just everything getting way too complicated, which those solutions could make worse. I mean, buying or playing Call of Duty is already a very confusing prospect in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
And so
not
adding
as
more
not as
complicating
confusing
layers
as
into that is tough.
Yeah. And the other thing is it's a discussion about price elasticity, because
yeah.
when you were doing like squeezing the audience, when there is no credible alternative to Call of Duty, to EAFC, to NBA
Yeah.
2K, why stop? Well,
Hmm.
there's no reason to stop. You know, that's capitalism.
Yes,
One,
as
one,
it's
one
at
way.
its finest. At its
Yes,
finest.
exactly.
The
Mhm.
enshittification of platforms.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the problem is there are alternatives, and you could eventually push people to them. They're not easy to act. For most people, it's not easy to conceive of spending your time in these alternatives, but they do exist, and it's possible.
Mhm.
maybe I'm also looking at it in the wrong way necessarily. No, not wrong way necessarily, but maybe there is another paradigm to this, which is the people who are playing FIFA FC and the people who are playing Call of Duty. Those people make 1 to 2 purchases per year, which is
Mhm.
probably these two games specifically,
Hmm.
and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when you
Yeah, so an extra
in
$20
the
is not a huge deal, really.
in the PC and console report that we published a few weeks ago, when you look at the number of games played by year, you can see that if a player play only one game on console, there is a very high probability that he will be playing a sport game.
Yeah.
And just that. And on PC, it's a shooter, so it can be just playing Counter-Strike or just playing a PUBG or some other shooter games. But I think it's very clear that there are a lot of players that are single-minded gamers. They just play one game because they only enjoy one game. Mhm.
Okay, gentlemen, I want to go back quickly to GTA 6.
Yes.
Please summarize it for me because I'm trying to read stuff and then I'm talking to you at the same time, and my
It
mind.
has been announced that it has been delayed to the 26th of May 26,
Yes.
so a little bit more than 1 year. But then the day after, they released a new trailer, which looks incredible. If you've not seen it, you
Yeah.
should.
Graphics
Yeah, it's cool.
are amazing. I can
You,
share
you,
my
you're
screen.
wondering, are you wondering how it's gonna run on console like Series S, for example? I don't know if they will have to reduce the resolution to make it work, because the level of detail, the physics of the bodies, and I think the belly, actually, there's physics for the belly.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's amazing.
it's just crazy.
And it's like it's staggering, and really it evokes Florida so effectively as well. It's a cool looking thing. It's giving me the same feeling I remember watching the Red Dead. 2 trailers.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like they made it. They made a game that looks this way.
It's gonna make everything else look bad.
Yeah.
Just when it's going to be released, everything else will look cheap somehow.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes, right? But it feels also the cinematics level has increased significantly.
Yeah, and the characters are likable, which is interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
In the previous one, uh, less less so than 4 and 5. There were really some serious anti-hero. Like, you were not supposed to like these guys, with the exception of Franklin, and Franklin like never. He wasn't the main story driver in the same way that Trevor and the other dude were. And but like, as soon as they put this trailer, it's like, oh yeah, I can get behind these people, which is a different storytelling approach for them.
Yeah, it's also the first time it's 2 protagonists that are in a relationship. I think until now the woman has been mostly in the background, and now it seems to be one of the main character. And
as a playable character.
As a main protagonist.
Yeah.
There has never been a playable woman character, right? Up to this point?
Nope.
In a GTA game? I don't think I remember.
Not trying to think of all the DLCs, Chinatown Wars, all that shit. I don't think so.
Yeah. But it's really refreshing in many ways, and I like the dynamic between the couple, so to say.
What the good news is that it looks so polished already, and they still have 1 year. I think the year that's left is probably going to be making sure that the world makes sense, like the interaction between the NPCs, and this is a credible living world, because the story is there. They already have their story. They probably have most of the cutscenes, and it's more about, I think, the consistency of the world.
I do find it so funny that like, this is a series which it conjures up location in a way that almost nothing else does, and like in all of the modern GTAs, we've seen Liberty City twice, we've seen Los Santos twice, and now we've seen Vice City twice. It's like, I would like them to try something new.
Is there a relationship to Vice City in this game, or no?
What do you mean? It takes
Is there a
place
relationship to Vice City?
It takes place in Vice City.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that becomes more. That was my favorite one, by the way.
Tourism to Florida is gonna peak next year and the years after. Just people physically going there because they've been there in the game. In the same way that when you go to some Santa Monica Pier when you are in Los Angeles. I mean, I remember playing GTA while I was there. So I think that's. I wonder. I'm sure there is no sponsorship from the city, but this is clearly something that would be in the same way that Clair Obscur right now. Everybody wants to be French and eat cheese and eat baguette and things like that. It's just quite funny.
That goes back to the Monster Hunter time. So our baguettes selling out of and sold out.
Yeah.
And then I believe the soundtrack is number 1 Billboard right now.
Cool.
Also.
Cool.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. But just quickly, 2 questions. What impact does GTA 6 have with this news? What does it have? What are the top 2, 3 points that you want to point out in terms of impact for this year, for everybody else, and then next year?
I mean, it makes a hole in the calendar in October, and AAA will do their best to fill it, but it's harder. I think it does create an opportunity for the Clair Obscuras of the world, for these kind of high polished AA. I think we can. I'm excited to see who can try and fill that gap, and if we can get something interesting in there.
Well, you have Borderlands 4, you have Ghost of Yotei, you have Mafia 3, Mafia.
The Old Country.
Yeah, exactly. So you already have these games announced, and there will probably be more. And we don't know about the next Battlefield game, whether it will be end of this year or first quarter of next year. That's still a open discussion. Discussion, I don't know, but it is not being shared at least.
So for 2025, we need to reconfigure the
Cut that out.
Yeah, cut that out.
And most of these games have already been released. If you look at it, you have Death Stranding. Death Stranding 2 is coming also.
Oh yeah. So, I don't think that really competes with a lot. I think it's just Death Stranding.
Yeah, but it's good for for Sony, probably somehow for PlayStation. What does it mean? It means that we have to review our forecast. So, I mean, as you know, news would just publish a forecast. And we were about to push the button to share our update, and then we had to redo everything because, let's be honest, GTA 6 and the Switch 2 were the two growth drivers for the industry this year, for the PC and console industry at least this year. So we are removing one. The gap will be filled, but as I mentioned before, there's a risk that the install base will not grow as expected because some people will wait next year to buy a console.
Absolutely.
It also delays by ricochet the release on PC by 1 year, probably. So PC is not before 2027. That's our expectations. It has not been announced at all. So it's not officially releasing on PC at this moment, but we expect that there is about 1 year between console and PC release.
So just quickly then, one more note. GTA 6, Nintendo Switch 2 next year. Is that a possibility?
No.
Nintendo Switch 2?
No, it's not.
No. It's releasing. It's pre-order. It's over.
I would also I'd like the Ninja ice cream maker on Nintendo Switch 2
GTA 6
well,
no GTA 6 on Switch 2 neither.
Why not? No. Why not?
Because it's not even as powerful as a PS5.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we are as likely to see it in my Ninja air fryer.
Yes.
I'm sure you already have Doom installed, so might as well put GTA 6 as well. Okay, I will challenge you on that and say I'll take that bet. We'll see GTA 6 on Nintendo Switch 2, 2026, 26,
sure,
05.
Why not?
Okay, boom. We'll play a bingo game. Anything else I need to be okay, so Fortnite news. Last item on the news. Fortnite to return to iOS App Store after court finds Apple violated order. There are two things here that I would like to ask you. One, do you have any updates on the Epic Apple lawsuit?
Yes. Apple lost.
Yeah.
In Europe or the world or US?
In the US at least.
So what did they lose?
So it means that you can have your App Store outside of the App Store and make revenue out of that on an iPhone.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yes.
I think that's a win for everybody.
Not for Apple.
Not for Apple, but everybody else.
So our assumption at this point is that players will not spend more unless this third-party App Store have a lower price point.
Yeah.
And the margin will be moved from the pocket of Apple to the pocket of the publisher directly, or to Epic if games go through Epic.
That's really good news. Okay, so will we see people or companies launching their own app stores on Apple worldwide?
Yeah, on the net, yes.
Okay,
that will be accessible through an iPhone.
It's been available in Europe for a while. It's a bit of a hassle because you need to deactivate and activate some specific features on the phone, and they make it harder for you, obviously, to find these things. That's one. So that's down. And then how come Fortnite then is willingly going back to iOS? Why don't they just launch their own thing and just drive
They are launching their own thing. I think it's just...
Yeah, you might as well be on iOS also.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was conflating the subjects. I didn't mean iOS. I meant the App Store, the iOS App Store specifically.
But still, even that, you might as well be on the App Store. There's nothing to lose if you can also do your own thing.
Because you can just let people go through your own payment later.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's very clear. So, I mean, that's amazing. And I hope a lot of companies follow suit so we can actually see more competition, and maybe the consumers will get cheaper pricing, potentially?
That's what you wish.
Okay.
But I mean, at the same time, if you are creating friction to the players because you ask them to come to your own app store outside of the official app store, you want to reward your players. So either you don't allow them to play on the official app store, or you just give them a discount or something else.
Yeah.
So I would expect that it should be positive for the end consumer somehow.
I mean, I just wish these companies understand impact, and these companies, I mean, mostly like the Googles and the Apples. I mean, that 30% taxing, it's tax for nothing almost, because you can't even you don't get anything for it. You just get accessibility or access rather. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they would just say, you know what, we'll take 5%. We built everything. We own everything. 5% is fair. But hey, who am I to say? Okay. Anything on the trends here? We have. Let me see. Turn-based games can make a comeback when they never left in the first place. Is this a reference to Obscure again?
Yes.
I'm calling it Obscure. I'm calling it Claire. I'm calling it Expedition.
Number 33. Yeah, I mean,
Thank
that's
you.
a reasonable statement. Turn-based games have been successful for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Persona, XCOM, Civ, Total War,
Yeah.
or whatever.
But on social media, whenever I see a video about either the music of Clair Obscur or just the gameplay or some streamers, I see, yeah, I'm not gonna buy this because I don't like turn by turn, turn-based combat. And it's like people have really emotional, strong statements about that. Like, no, they don't like turn-based combat. In the same way that if you see a video about an electric car, you would have a lot of people saying, I refuse to drive an electric car. I don't know why people that don't like turn-based combat needs to express the fact that they don't like turn-based combat when we talk about a turn-based combat game. So I think it's fine. And when you actually play the game, you see that because of this, the mechanic of parry, it's way more active than just a pure turn-based combat.
I do feel like it's a bit. I mean, I don't want to talk about Square Enix, obviously, and Final Fantasy games. I feel like it's a bit sad that we don't get a. I feel like in the generation of Final Fantasy 1 to 10 ish, or maybe you can include maybe one additional after that.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many varieties of worlds of the fantasies themselves were very different. Like Final Fantasy 7 is in this, I don't know what you want to call it, steampunk, whatever it's called, and then you have 9 that is in this medieval type situation. 8 was like this futuristic students thing, but after that, it felt like the fantasy element is not there anymore. Or that's one thing, but the other thing is why move away from the bread and butter of, and to your point, Manu, like, okay, so these guys just implemented parrying or other elements that have kind of like, given more flavor, or even Persona has their own flavor of how to deal with it. But I feel like that's a bit sad for the Final Fantasy franchise, and they have cornered themselves now where everything has to be realistic, and everything has to be like top graphics, and everything has to be like. Is that a correct assessment? What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's just tough to. I mean, from the graphics perspective, it's just tough to reverse a trend, and that's the problem with all of these long-standing franchises. That like they wanted to improve their graphics from Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy VII, and so they gave us 3D, and they wanted to improve their graphics to Final Fantasy X to take like advantage of the PS2. And that's just what they do, and so it requires a major reorganization of the franchise's identity in order to no longer care about that. And you could do it, but like it would be a really big deal, and you need to really communicate well around it.
And
Go
yeah,
ahead.
there is a convergence of the taste of the audience also. If you want to aim at the largest audience, then you have to go 3D, then you have to go first person or third person, and then all the games end up being shooters. So I think there is a limit to that, and you have to stay, how can I say, linked to your own identity. Resident Evil made the move from like a 3D camera where now you are a third person view, and I think it works well. I think it increased the target audience. But you want to stop yourself. Baldur's Gate 3 is great. It's isometric and it's fine. You don't want to have that you don't want it to become Morrowind or Skyrim and having a third person view. So there is a limit between your own DNA and where you think the audience is going. And yeah.
No, it's just harder to adapt once you have a large established fan base or brand. and it's very difficult to not find yourself following in that instance, I think.
Yeah. Well, I do hope maybe a brand manager or director at Square Enix is looking at this. I think if you look at Persona specifically, they've been a bit smarter with the choices they made in terms of transitioning to better graphics, but not necessarily leaving behind the simplicity of how things look. Okay, I'll move over to the rumors. There's a potential Microsoft and Asus Xbox handheld. Leaked photos. This is The Verge.
No, it's happening. But the thing is, it's more like an existing. It's more like an existing model, like a. But the other one has an Xbox button.
This
you
one.
See the Yes.
I mean, it's
so it might be two versions of the same device with some a coating of Xbox branding. That might be just that. I don't think Microsoft is going to build their own device. It's just
I thought they were.
more going.
I thought that was fairly well established that they were doing that.
That they are building their own. Is that what you're saying, Dave?
They're not. They're not. I thought we did.
But I think it would be fantastic. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, but I think you could have these devices that are like Xbox branded, where you just push the X button and then you have your Game Pass library opening.
Absolutely.
But beside that, you can still launch your Steam library or something else. I think that would be the best of both worlds. But let's wait. Still a rumor.
Here's just to add some detail then here. The listing here reveals that some limited specs. One of them is the same as the first generation of AMD Ryzen Z2 CPUs that are included in the Xbox edition. So, okay. Okay. Half-Life 3. Do we care?
But was there a news item here, or are we just yelling? What do you know? Half-Life 3
yelling stuff out for the funds. But okay, so this one is saying that Half-Life 3, is being widely play tested ahead of a possible summer reveal. Winter release. Game is playable from beginning to end.
If they take the spot of GTA 6, we're gonna break the internet. Okay.
Yeah, seriously. I think if they try and go up against GTA 6, they will quickly realize that their brand ain't what they used to be.
So, what's interesting with this thing specifically, which is, I think I changed my mind. Now I'm changing it again. So last year or a couple of years ago, I was like in the decision of, okay, even if Half-Life would come out now, nobody would care. It doesn't matter. We've already moved on. Okay. I mean, when was the Half-Life 2 episode 2? Was that 2005-ish?
Yeah, and then Alex was like, what, 6?
I don't count Alex because that's not I'll pretend Alex never happened. Okay.
It's good. It's a good VR game, but it's a VR game.
It's an amazing VR game that nobody has played. Okay.
Yeah.
But this thing now, and I don't know, maybe it's, here's my takeaway. My takeaway is nobody has made a single player first person shooter game that plays like Half-Life ever since Half-Life 2. And what I mean by that specifically is how the mechanics of the first person work, the traversal in the world, how you interact with the world, the tools you have at your disposal, the enemies, that type of stuff, the creativity on how you tackle the situations you're in, the gravity gun and using that to build stuff and put things in order. I haven't seen that. I would love to play that, not because it's Half-Life 3, but because of those specific mechanics are not available in any other single player first person game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you have said that nobody cares about an Oblivion game before the remaster? Because it's a 20-year-old game, everybody forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, this is the key, right, Manu? We talked about this, which is people who were born 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now is your opportunity.
Yeah.
And now we'll
Exactly.
add one more thing. So Manu, I'll add one more final thing here. My kids, who are like 7, 9 years old, I can guarantee you right now, if I put, because they're playing Counter Strike, obviously, which they might not, they're not supposed to, but they enjoy it. It's fine. But if I put them now to play Half-Life, I can guarantee they will be enjoying themselves.
Oh yeah.
So there is something specific here in terms of the games, and we talk about accessibility and all that stuff, but the simplicity of how that game is made, or played rather, I think that it lends itself to any generation to come and play. And the graphics are amazing still to this day.
Just have them play Titanfall 2 single player campaign. They would be amazed too.
Well, we'll get to that then. I think that was one of the problem that I have there specifically is that the amount of options you have, and sorry, somebody's calling here, but the amount of options you have and the way you traverse the world is so complex from a control mechanism perspective. That's the biggest challenge I think
Okay.
there is. But on Half-Life, it's so straightforward and simplistic in that.
Very linear, huh? Ultimately, it's very linear. And it's also from a time where we only had linear type of first-person shooter. Now everybody is adding a layer of RPG and a layer of non-linearity. So like, will Half-Life 3 have a competence tree? Will have upgrades like any Assassin's Creed around or any other games? So I think that's also the question. Even Doom. I think Doom has a weapon upgrade tree, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So Half-Life would need to have something like that, probably. If they don't, I think they're going to be a culture shock with the modern audience.
Absolutely. But maybe the main audience is us.
Yeah, the main audience is definitely us.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Numbers. We all love the numbers, right? Number one item on the numbers. Monopoly Go surpasses 5 billion in 2 years.
Man, that's
they were. Wait a second.
That's a lot of money for Monopoly. Okay,
yeah.
It's just Monopoly.
It's just Monopoly money.
It's Monopoly.
Are we talking real money or like the little paper?
The paper. Aren't all money paper money, Dave?
Not anymore. I haven't touched a bill in
But
years.
It's a game that has been around for so many years that could have been a success 10 years ago, but nobody did it. It's not like they came with an incredible concept. They just take Monopoly, a board game.
The game isn't really. The game isn't. I mean, I haven't played a ton of it, just enough to see what it is. It's not like Monopoly as a game, right? It's a fully fleshed out different thing based off the Monopoly property.
I got it, but the reason why it became popular is because it was Monopoly in the first place, probably. It's the entry point. And then you do whatever you want with it, but you start with this existing IP.
Here's a question.
5 billion is a lot, okay? 5 billion is really a lot. Studios are happy when they sell 500,000 units, which is basically only a few million. And here you have this machine that's getting 5 billion. And it's potentially, it might not be cannibalistic. It might be a new audience also, because it's on mobile, a more casual audience. It's probably not just Candy Crush money that's going to Monopoly too, potentially.
A very different game than Candy Crush too, so it's not going to scratch those people's itch.
Guys, this is not the news item. The actual news item should be, so Savi bought Scopely in 2023 for 4.9 billion. And now they just made their money back.
Yep.
So probably one of the best investments, in the line of Minecraft.
Yeah.
Crazy times. Okay. I'll move over. Okay, Split Fiction. Joseph Fares. Sold just 4 million copies, nearly
growing.
Expectation.
Right, awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do we expect more, by the way?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I remember It Takes Two was such a monster that I think a lot of people played It Takes Two.
I believe it's selling faster. And it's $10 more also. So there you go. Price elasticity, 0.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't, again, it's a similar situation. There's really not a lot of competition for a
Exactly.
co-op game of that nature.
So, message to the people listening: try to find your own niche rather than try to do the next extraction shooter or battle royale game.
I think that you should take the genre that is popular right now. You should clone it as closely as you can. You should do a 5-year development cycle, and you should release it much later using a lack of distinctive assets or gameplay ideas. I think that's the recipe.
Yeah.
Dave, from your mouth to every XX.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, yeah, good idea.
No, I mean this is, and I think Manu, if you remember, we reported on a potential movie for this game,
Mhm. Yeah.
which means once the movie comes out, if there is a movie that comes out, immediately you'll see a jump in sales for Split Fiction again.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you might even see a profitable movie,
Yeah,
not just a marketing side quest. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, the game that we cannot stop talk about, the number 33,
Mhm.
has now surpassed 2 million copies
Mhm.
All
in
right,
12
nice
days.
work. And that's with Game Pass inclusion. Important to remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is excluding Game Pass players,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's
Well, yeah.
on top of the Game Pass
Yeah, I mean, like,
copies or
because you
players.
definitely would expect there to be more sales without Game Pass. So, like, these are great sales
Yeah.
regardless,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
on Game Pass.
And then the last item on the list, I don't know what this is, so you'll have to help us explain what this is, by the way, because I haven't heard about it, and I'll
Mhm.
try and make a copy, or rather, try and do some searches while we explain it. South of Midnight crosses 1 million
Mhm.
players in less than a month.
Mhm.
What is South of Midnight?
It's a nice,
Narrative.
yeah, it's action,
Yeah.
like action narrative. The more of an indie game, it's on the Game Pass, so it's probably because I follow the Game Pass activity that I've played and heard about that game.
Yeah.
It was also promoted by Xbox, and it happened. It's the setting is I think Louisiana, Mississippi, so it's a different setting than your typical little adventure game. So I
Yeah.
think that adds a bit of I think interest and novelty. It's like the same recipe in a different world, in a different setting. That's also a way to differentiate.
And this sold 1 million. This is excluding the Xbox
Yeah,
Game Pass.
I believe so. I don't know exactly what is the wording here.
Well, if it said exceeds 1 million
No,
players, that's the
yeah,
headline. If that's the
Oh,
headline,
players.
then they're
Okay.
including Game Pass people.
Yeah.
Because it's not
Okay.
sales.
it's a first party Xbox game also.
Oh,
So
it
you don't
is.
have it on PlayStation. Yes.
Ah, that explains a lot. I mean, but it
Mhm.
looks beautiful.
I encourage you to try it.
Yeah,
Try it.
I'd love to find the time here, but Claire Obscura is first, of course.
It reminds me of a very very early PS3 game called Folklore. Probably a
Folklore,
game that
yes.
very few have played.
Yeah, I remember the name, I think.
Yeah, Folklore.
It reminds me of living in Louisiana.
There you go. You
And
know
then
what
better.
other awesome game was taking place in Louisiana?
There is an infamous one.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that DLC, the infamous, I don't know what it was called, the Midnight DLC thing, the Vampire DLC, that was amazing. I wish one day that Sucker Punch goes back to Infamous. We'll see if Sony allows that.
And of course, Red Dead 2. They did some Louisiana.
Undead Nightmares?
No, just like Red Dead 2 involved
Oh.
the state of Lemoyne, which was Louisiana, and had New Orleans in it. And
Okay.
as well as my favorite restaurant was faithfully recreated 1-to-1 in there.
Amazing. Go ahead, Manu.
Resident Evil 7 is in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Hunt Showdown is in Louisiana. Far Cry New Dawn is in Louisiana.
Far Cry New Dawn was in Louisiana? I thought Far Cry New Dawn was supposed to be the same setting as Far Cry 5, like in Montana.
Is that 6? Far Cry 6?
6
No,
is
it's
Cuba.
5. It's
Oh,
5.
it's 5. Yeah.
5 add-on.
I mean, I think the environments there are really attractive, and there's a lot of dynamics. There's water, there's like woodlands and all that stuff.
And there's also Mafia. Mafia was New Orleans.
I'm sure there is.
Mafia
I'm sure
3.
there is. Maybe
There
some
is a
cocaine.
mod called Expeditions in Far Cry New Dawn that's
Far Cry Expedition.
allows
okay,
you to
yeah.
travel there. It's not the setting is the same map as Far Cry 5. Yes.
Is this the same thing as the dragon thing they did for Far Cry 4? Was it, or was it 3? I forgot.
3 Blood Dragon.
Yeah,
Blood
I mean, they
Yeah.
started doing this. Blood Dragon started it, and then they did the Paleolithic one off of Far Cry 4. And
Primal.
then Primal. That was super cool. Really liked that. And then
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like Skyrim with guns, right? Just take the guns away and see what happens.
Yeah, I remember the news when people figured out, that game had the same map as 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we have reached the end.
All right.
And I think Manu's.
Manu has reached his end.
Manu
Apparently.
has already checked out.
He's had enough.
He's probably gonna try and come back again. But with that being said, I think we've had some really amazing discussions. Welcome back, Manu.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I think it's connection, but it's fine. We're wrapping up. So of course, please like, subscribe, do all the things that you need to do to help us help you. We would really appreciate that. Go to guysweekly.substack.com to subscribe to the newsletter. All the gaming news in under 30 seconds, 9 a.m. every Friday, regardless of where you are in the world.
Bam.
That's a promise from me to you. Almost.
Well, 9 a.m. is different in different places, so that can't work.
Okay. For those who are in the East, Saturdays, 9 a.m. As soon as you wake up, just
Okay.
check your phone.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll be there. We'll be there. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to discussing more of your ninja equipment next week.
It's going to be great. I'll have to get an ice cream maker.
You should. You should. We're going to test it out today, so I'll tell you how good it is. And we're testing a gelato, we're testing a yogurt, and we're testing a sorbet.
You got it all.
So we have
You got it
all
all.
three
Yeah.
in the making today. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you so much again. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.